How important has the Chinese market become for chip makers, both here and actually everywhere?
Biggest customer in the world. You know, China is where everything gets made, and that's where you ship the chips.
And so what do we make of a slowdown, and what do you make of it at this point in terms of how long it may extend, and or if you want to weigh in on some of these stock prices, given you certainly saw your share of ups and downs as your years at Cypress Semi?
All right, so first, a very short anecdote. I remember in the first quarter of 2001, that was the dot-com crash. We booked, in the prior quarter, we had done $1 billion in revenue. And our bookings for the first quarter were $87 million. We had a book-to-bill below 0.1. So you know, compared to that, nothing's happening. I heard the word tepid a few minutes ago. That's where it's at. With regard to China, there's two theories. One is Trump's actions against China are having an impact, and they're going to have to deal with it. Alternatively, China, the maker of all electronics for the world, is seeing less end demand for its electronics and therefore slowing down on chips. I don't know which it is.
TJ, you've laid out the case that China needs chips in general, is going to continue to need chips. I guess the question for me, and maybe for investors, is how many is it going to need in the near term, given that gaming PCs have been slowing down, high-end phone sales from Apple and others appear to be slowing, cloud hardware buying appears to be having a downturn. I mean, could all of that play out for several quarters in the chip sector, you think?
Well, the new colds going around, you get them and they last about 3 weeks. Semiconductor disease, it tends to last 3 quarters if you have it. I wouldn't worry too much about NVIDIA. They make very specialized chips, you know, Bitcoin mining, stuff like that. And okay, that's down. Apple makes $1,000 phones. Okay, people are being a little careful on $1,000 phones. The one that I'd watch more carefully, because it is a better indicator, is Micron. You know, Micron makes all kinds of memories. They're the biggest memory maker in America, and in my opinion, the best in the world. And if they're slowing down, you could scale the number of electronic products China's going to make pretty much by watching what they do.
TJ, just to put a finer point on it, back in December when you're on CNBC, you said we've been in a tech super cycle for a long time now. I don't see anything fundamentally wrong in the space. Is that still the case?
Absolutely right. The semiconductor industry is consolidated and is still consolidating. The companies that are left are bigger and much more profitable. One of the things I see is that the earnings are better than expectations and the revenue slightly less than expectation. But you know, Micron was at the bottom end of his guidance, and the guidance was very tight. Intel missed by $0.3 billion out of $19 billion. So the revenue's a little bit weak, but the earnings are fine. So with regard to earnings, if you believe in price-to-earnings ratios, things are still fine, and they will remain fine because our industry is stronger right now.
TJ, finally, you bring up 5G as a potential driver of semiconductor sales, but I wonder how long should investors expect to wait, outside of the IP creators who will probably start getting paid up front, but for that to start really driving significant volume in the semi space?
I don't see that this year. You know, I'm like everybody else. I got G4, and it works fine for me. I'm in no rush, so if I'm a little bit nervous about anything, I'll wait.
2020, 2021, what do you think?
2020. Start seeing it in 2020.